At the beginning of 2024, we unboxed and reviewed the Unico Pocket, a handheld which at the time was the second handheld to have the beautiful screen that you could find on the 406H and 406V from AYRJGF. It was a nice looking handheld that had a lot of potential, and it even came with licensed SNK games. But unfortunately, it was locked down, and you could only play the games that were in it. And at $79.99, it was a bit high. Nowadays, you can find it for under that. But that has not stopped Unico, who has most been well known for candy cabs and arcade cabinets and other things, coming out with their second handheld. And today we're going to take a look and unbox at the Unico Color. Now this is a 3.5-inch 640 by 480 vertical that we are so sick of. But let's give Unico the benefit of the doubt and find out, is this going to be any good or any different? Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode of our content. Anyways, let's hop in and take a look at the Unico Color.
I think we ran out of gas.
I told you to go see Deadfred.
Why, yes, they should. I mean, haven't they seen my commercial?
At Deadfred Auto, we have no need for gas. Do you?
That's right, because we've gone all electric here at Deadfred Auto. So come down and select one of the best new... No, wait, I'm not a car dealer. Oh, man, that would be kind of cool. I actually want an electric vehicle. Hey, Deadheads, welcome to the channel. Or welcome to the channel for the first time, new Deadheads. Today, we're going to take a look at the Unico Color. So let's start with the box here. We do see that we have just a very plain looking box. It does have the Unico logo here, and then Unico Color along with the model number, the LR35I. So I'm not sure about that. There's not much else going on with this box, but let's get this box open. And once inside, we see, oh, a surprise. Now this is kind of nice. There is some kind of card here. So apparently IGS out of China was a very popular line of arcade games. And so this is a lenticular 3D card that comes with it. I'm not sure if each one is different, if they're all the same, but it's kind of nice looking. I'll give it that. So that's kind of a nice touch. Underneath that, we do have the actual package here. So here we have the Unico, which has 15 classical IGS games preloaded. Now, is this going to be like the Unico Pocket and that's all we can play? I don't know. I hope not. But let's find out as we look through this. Looking on the front of this, this is nicely packaged. It does have the handheld pictured on the front. It says licensed by IGS. On the bottom, you can get it in black or red, and we do have the red color here. And then moving on the sides, Arcade Home and Unico, and nothing else more. Going to the back of it, and we do have some pictures of those licensed Unico games that are in here, those IGS games. We do see a lot of non-English writing, so I'm not sure about what these games are. I don't have a lot of familiar with these games, but that's okay. We'll learn about it. In the box, we get a console, power cable, and instructions. So let's get the plastic off of this, and let's find out what's inside of the box. Ah, the satisfaction of taking the plastic off. Who needs that? Anyways, let's get this box open and find out what we see inside. Now, I have a suspicion that this is a rebranded handheld that we have looked at a long time ago, the really old school D35. So I'm not sure. We're going to see if that's what this is. But inside, we do have our normal phone. We'll take that out. And then we have the handheld. And this is a pretty good looking red in person, I'll give it that. But let's get beyond that and find out what's below. Opening and looking further, we do have a USB-C cord, okay? And then we have a manual, no screen protector, but that's okay. The LR35, so do not get the product wet. So the manual is pretty basic here. We have it in several languages, so it looks like I see some Italian, Spanish, Russian, English, French, so that's pretty good. And let's turn this over and take a look. So not much to this, but let's get this put back in here, and let's get looking at this handheld again. There's nothing else underneath this, so let's put this all back and take a look, and let's get the handheld out and check it out. Hey Deadhead, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, AliExpress, and the Neo Pocket Micro. This is an amazing handheld with a beautiful 4x integer 3:2 ratio screen, which is perfect for Game Boy Advance. It does come in two different flavors, one with sticks like we have here and one without. It's got a premium metal build and a Helio G99 in it. If you're new to the world of retro handhelds, you may not have seen this product because it has been quite expensive, but using codes from our friends at AliExpress, you can get this now at a much better price than it launched at way back when. This also can play up to some PS2 and GameCube along with Nintendo Wii, making it amazing portable. It runs on Android 13, so it's the smallest Android handheld in your pocket. Anyways, we think it's a great solution and now at a better price. Hit the link in the description to check our codes and pick one up for yourself. We'd like to thank AliExpress for sending this over to us. And again, thank you for watching our videos. Back to the show. Okay, immediately picking this up, and it's quite obvious. The old brain kicked in, and I remembered our friends SZDer, whatever, SZDer. They had the DR35 Plus, and ding, 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 ding. That's exactly what this is. Unico, you just simply have made a colorway for yourself. But this does have those licensed games, and the old DR35 Plus, which said it was a Rock Chip 3326, was not. And so we'll open this up and make sure that this is the same, but I'm pretty sure this has got that same VT chip in it, which means not a lot happening here. I don't have a lot of hope for this, but since we've reviewed this already, you can go check out our review. I'll do a real quick overview. The buttons, while looking nice, are not too bad. They are independent, so that's one thing that it has going for this. They are independent. Like other SZDer handhelds or their newer line, we do have a large D-pad, okay? So it's a large D-pad. It's a decent D-pad. It has good pivot. And then the first big problem, sticks, completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. The CPU in this, if it's what I think it is not going to play anything that needs the sticks. And there is no R3 and L3, so ding, 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 ding. This is just in the way, makes it bigger unnecessarily. We do have the DR28S they came out with later under their newer brand, Damn, which is a lot better. But this was their original that they came out with, and it had the sticks, and so not really anything good to do there. It does have a decent 3.5-inch screen, one we've seen a billion times that we're sick of, but it has that nice screen. Looking around the side of it, not much going on. It does have a volume rocker on one side, and then on the bottom it does have a port for the USB-C, your headphone jack, and one SD card slot, and then your power button on top. So it does have a removable battery door. I guess that's good going for it. Overall, this handheld just really wasn't that good back then, and I'm not very hopeful, except for these licensed games, which are going to be a bit unique. So let's get this thing turned on and take a look at the software and the games. Hey, sorry to interrupt the show, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Amazon. Amazon and Genki sent us this. This is the dual wield from Genki. If you have a Nintendo Switch 2, you might want a quick, easy way to do all of your charging. This has a awesome combination of a grip along with a start charging station. The grip is very well made, and when I first used it, I was surprised at how solid the grip felt. It's not some cheap plastic junk. This is very well made. It uses the new magnetic connectors as well to quickly charge your unit, and it has a big symbol showing you when red or green when it's fully charged. This comes in at an amazing price, and I think it's a great gift for anyone that has a Nintendo Switch 2. So hit the link in the description and pick one of these up from our friends over at Amazon.com. I want to thank them for sending this over, and we love this thing. It's been very great and useful, and we do recommend it. Anyways, back to the show. Okay, let's boot it up. And from the top, we do have the power button. Turn this thing on. Let's find out what we're going to see here. Unless it's dead, I might have to charge it. Let's see here. Always fun to do these in this. There we go. Unico Arcade Home. That's interesting. Arcade Home. Screen looks nice. It looks a little weird. Oh, and yeah, we have what looks very familiar for the Unico Pocket. So this does not have that software we saw on the S-Dizer or DR35 Plus. So are we going to find out here? So we have Knights of Valor, Knights of Valor, Knights of Valor, um, Killing Blade, Martial Blasters, Demon Front, Dragon Lord, Photo Y2K, and Puzzle Star. So first things, let's see, can we do anything? Can we get into any sort of menu? Oh, and by the way, this came from Amazon. We do want to thank Amazon for sending this and providing us for review. There is just Chinese from the beginning. So let's see if we can get that in English. There we go. So just go to the next menu and English is right there. So that's not too bad. And yeah, there's absolutely no software here. And there's no way to add games. So we're pretty much looking at this with these 12 games. The way this ships is since we think it is the same as SDzer, this might be able to be hacked. And for those of you who like to, you know, tinker around or something, this would be really good probably to try to get something better running on this. But let's just try a few of these games as I show them, and let's just talk about what I think about this. Polygram Master. So, since you're initially stuck with the 12 games that are on this, unless you really know these games and like these games, I find it a little bit hard to understand who the market for this is. These are arcade based, so it does want you to insert a coin, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, there's just a lot of language barrier here. But again, remember, these are not like translated over. These are the authentic licensed games like they would have appeared in China or overseas. And so this is a Mahjong game. And so I'm definitely not going to be able to play that. So I didn't pick the very best game to start with. I will say the screen looks pretty nice like we expected. The D-pad's moving fine. Again, the sticks, which are useless, but you know, you could use a stick for a game like this. I could see it. But again, I don't really know why they chose to use this one to load these games on. There are much better, Unico, there are much better of these you could have licensed. Even the 28S from Diem, their Diem brand would have been better than this. So I don't really know that why they did it here. You can save and load again, so not a lot going on here. We'll go into the Knights of Valor because that's the one that, you know, I'm more familiar with. Again, the brand, I guess PGM is sort of Polygram Media. Always IGS Polygram Master. I don't know. Someone leave me a comment and tell me. Has a weird date on there. Anyways, this says, I keep saying China, but this says Japan, so maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize here. But again, yeah, this is just a Final Fight type scrolling fighter game series. It is quite popular. And again, it's really cool they put that collector's card in there. So I will give them that. And yeah, this game is kind of like a Final Fight sort of game, a Double Dragon sort of game, jumping and slashing. The D-pad seems okay. So yeah, and it looks and sounds decent. It's a mono speaker, which is crap. But the last thing I want to do for this review is I want to open this thing up and find out what CPU's in it. Is this exactly just the SDZR? And then explore if there's any community firmware for this. Okay, so we opened it up and you can have a look here as I show a picture. It does have that VT CPU, the same one that was in the SDZR DR35 Plus. And also, if you try to boot this with no SD card, this is what you get. So I was able to track down the original SD firmware for the SDzer DR35 Plus, and you can boot that. So you could use this like the original, but that is still not a very good software, and there's not really any custom firmware going on for the CPU. So this is kind of dead in the water. So let's wrap this review up. This is a great buy if you were super into the IGS games and you want that collector card because it's kind of cool. It is in a nice package. It has nice buttons. It has terrible sticks that shouldn't even be there. And it's got a lockdown software pretty much for most of you just for the 12 games that it comes with, which are in a foreign language for Americans or English speakers. So yeah, this is kind of super niche, even more super niche than the Unico Pocket. At least the Unico Pocket had some Neo Geo games that are pretty universally known around the world. These are a little less known, I think. At least I wasn't aware of them. So for the asking price, Deadfred says this is just not really worth it. I don't understand this product. I like that Unico is trying things. I encourage them to try to continue to bring us licensed content because I do think there's a market for doing it properly. And if they could get something like, I don't know, a TurboGrafx licensed game set and a handheld that played TurboGrafx at a high resolution, something like that. But Unico, this is not cutting it. It's just not great. It's not worth the price. There's way too many other better selections. If you really want these games, I'm sure you can probably find them some other way, but buy them licensed when you can. So if you love this brand, support it. Otherwise, Deadfred says, it's not very good. Anyways, remember to hit that like button. I'm sorry, remember to hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones because tomorrow is never promised. We'll see you next time. Bunch of cool stuff coming up, Deadheads.